it as Michael actually making it out, not getting stuck in the dimension. Now, if somebody just asked, is Earth ending to me? If you ain't figured that shit out, the Christians will tell you that Earth is ending. If you ain't figured out Earth is ending, then you need to go back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? Yes, this motherfucker's ending. If you ain't figured that shit out, women are throwing babies in dumpsters and going back to their prom. So what do you think? You know what I mean? What do you think? You know what I mean? You know, I mean, don't ask me nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I see somebody in the chat room that did that. That's why I don't want to take questions on this. Not because I'm scared of no goddamn questions. It's because you're not supposed to be here. You're in the wrong place. You know what I mean? If you don't feel, if nothing in your spirit tells you that this earth is ending. The greenhouse effect, nigga. You know what I mean? I mean, enough of that. You know. So basically, Mike turned into this multicolored thing. The conscious people were getting reports all around the country that they were seeing different forms of Mike transcending. Some in the beat it suit, some in the Billie Jean hat, some in the smooth criminal shit. You know what I'm saying? Some in the smooth criminal shit. So what it is the next thing, we were in a new world. We were in this new world, and Mike came to me as the kid again. So I was like, yo, that, you know, what I seen in this world was fucking incredible. There's no words that could do the justice. There's nothing I can say, and that's where you're right, where the English language would be limited, but I suspect that the meta-neta would be limited too if I was speaking in that, or Latin would be limited for what you see in these worlds. The real problem is to interpret it because you don't feel the glory of these things. There's these brief moments you feel at the carnival, on the roller coaster, you know, getting some pussy, a good night's sleep, or taking a good dump. There's these moments of heaven that you get. So there's no way to explain it, but I was there and experienced it. Like I said, you can realize these things now. So I'm cursing, no, motherfucking this, that, the other, this, that, the other, this, that, the other. And then I started seeing mold come around the doorway. And I'm like, what's that? He said, well, if you curse, your house starts to mold. I'm like, all right, you know, now decode it. Because remember, they talk in symbols. Now, and also, when I was on this earth, all the people who seem to be the ones standing around in this place, waiting for this event to happen with Michael Jackson, they was on this new world, and all they kept saying was, there are no more white people. They were in awe that there were no more white people. So decode it. What did that mean? What did those symbols that he showed me mean? Because these dreams are not actual things they're saying. White people absolutely mean nothing. If you get caught in that, you're still actually on a lower level. They are your oppressors in a human form, so you deal with the white people accordingly. Your human oppressors. In the spirit world, they have no power. So if we're getting off of this planet, what this represented for the person who just came out of this Holocaust, and white people have been the symbol of their Holocaust in this late time, the first thing they would need to realize to show that they are in a heaven or are in a better place is white people don't exist here. So is it actual white people? No. But these people who, because when I came to find out we are in the orientation planet, what these people were realizing or had to realize was that these white people didn't exist. And that's what that symbol was. Now, when I was saying cursing, curse is just a made-up shit. Fuck, you know, fornication under the king and so on. What he was talking about was cursed thoughts. Cursed thoughts. The cursed thoughts are basically the thoughts of you being a human. Your human mind or your brain or your intellect is the curse. It is you in hell. It is you. It is the scourge of the universe. The only true evil is human thought. So he's saying human, egotistical, or cursed thoughts. Cursed thoughts is what molds your house. Where we're going after this is living in your mind. The mind is all. So your thoughts reign supreme. Your thoughts are your heaven. Your thoughts are your greater reality. So this being the case, your cursed thoughts are what molds your house. So that was decoding what he was saying. Now, the next thing that was shown to me was these rooms. And all these rooms had nothing but people in it who just came from Earth. I went into a room by myself, and there was a woman in there. She was complaining, She was absolutely, utterly the textbook definition of crazy that we would say down here. And she was talking about her kids. One of her kids was retarded. They took her kids away. She doesn't have enough room in the house. All this human drama based upon her motherhood. So I'm telling her what I know. Like I said, in a lucid dream, I can tell her what I know. No, this is all illusion. Maya, you never was in Earth. You never was on Earth. Your light never was really here. Your soul was sleeping. You have no children in that sense. You're not responsible in that sense. You let nobody down in that sense. All the things we know as an occultist to be real seem to have no effect. Michael Jackson came in, little Michael Jackson, and he started explaining to her. The first thing he said is, here there is no such thing as money, and you get every single thing that you need. He said, how many kids do you have? She said, X amount. He said, if that's what you think you have, then you will have exactly what they need. She understood, and she was cured. Now, decoded. What did this mean? When I woke up, said, well, let me see what Mike was talking about here. What was he talking about? You have to decode the symbols. So I said, okay, I get it. What he was basically showing me was what I think I know about teaching is from the Earth perspective. So me as a teacher, I would have to reformat if there's no more Earth, and, most people think, it's the Earth cycle ending. No, the Earth is ending. This shit will go in a circle until we stop it. We are stopping it. We don't want to be in a place that could possibly turn into this again. So if this is a new cycle and we get our powers back, what are we going to do? Build another fucking pyramid? You get what I'm saying? So we don't even want to in Shangri-La of this thing here. You are in a dysfunctional state if it could possibly turn back into this. So if you clean up all the oil out the water, if there's a chicken in every pot, and everybody could pick fruit off the trees, the mere fact that this shit could turn into this shit is enough to say, I don't want to be on this shit no more. So this thing will go into the circle of the zodiac until someone stops it. Guess what? We stopping it. That's what we're here to do. Ain't no more new cycles. They get earth cycles based upon people who are human. Remember, just go to your Bible. The meek inherit the earth. So if you plan on staying on the earth, good luck, and let me know how the shit works out. You know what I'm saying? Light a candle to me, and maybe I'll come and tell you what kind of pussy party's going on over here while you down there plowing and shit. You know what I mean? So what he was telling me in this new world, that I would have to retrain the way I teach. In other words, these people are sick with human thoughts from the experience that they just went through. They are sick with human poisoning, if you will. And based upon this human poisoning, we have to basically train from that perspective as opposed to trying to show somebody that there's a greater reality. We now have to show people that what they thought was reality wasn't reality from the perspective of being in the reality, as opposed to trying to plead with motherfuckers that there's something beyond you when they scream, show, and prove all the time. So the teaching now has to change. So the way Mike showed up, he was like the teachers, Dr. Joe Procrum, Dr. Blair, Bobby, Phil, Black Dot, Rashad, all the brothers who came up, the twins, Dr. Sadie, you know, Naeem, this one, and Akbar, the other one. Anyone, Brother Wayne, all these brothers would have to go under, in this particular orientation world, they would have to go under not a re-education, but a reformatting of what it is they do to start training people to go on to the greater reality of what they are, or back to the greater reality what they were. In other words, it's the end result of destroying human thoughts, snatching people out of these dimensions that are burnt up, and basically they're being prepared for everyone on Earth to come through to this particular reality. So, and when he said the part about you get what you need, I was like, shit, well, get what you need, people would think heaven is, 36 bathrooms and, all the pussy you could stand and, 1,000 horses and whatever the mind, but that's what your human thought thinks it is. For instance, MC Hammer had a gold-plated Hammer Time gates 2 gold-plated hammer time gates for the entrance of his property, 17-car garage, dishwasher in his bedroom for the purpose of cleaning up after a midnight stack, 2 helicopters, lease a Boeing 727, gold chains for 4 of his pet dogs. So this particular shit is textbook insanity. And you would say, well, that's heaven for a nigga. But in the world where we going for, that's nothing but human ego, and it's contrary to our reality of heaven. That's not what you're looking for in terms of what it is we value. What you're looking for is greater and greater light, greater and greater bliss. These things are just earth bliss. And even then, they're not even earth bliss because he lost all that shit, and he's doing 1-800 commercials. So even when you have this level of shit, the thing in your mind is what you need to do not to lose this level of shit. So it's not even a reality. So basically, when he was saying you get what you need and there's no money, what he was basically saying was these things are obsolete here, and overall, what we're doing is releasing you from your human sickness. So I understood then that this was a world of orientation for people who just got out the matrix. The teachers now take on a new role of getting you, for the ones who have come out this matrix, getting that humanity off their ass and now freeing people and sending them to their deeper reality, or putting them back into their right mind for them to create the heaven they want within what we now symbolize as the Sirius star system physically. So now, so moving on, like I said, I go into detail when I write this. This is written up. It's in my blogs on myspace.com/pandemon. If you want to get the full impact, the full effect in the detail, because I go into very minute details on decoding it. And I also say in it, listen to the symbols that he showed me, and maybe you'll see more. So don't take my word for it. I am not your preacher. I'm not here to guide you and say this is what it is. I'm only reflecting the reality that I see based upon the work. You trust in that or you don't. I don't care. I'm not here to make you trust in that. Do your work and you let me know what happened. You know what I mean? Email and let me know what happened. So now the next thing I see is we're walking and I see my grandfather. My grandfather's on a pair of fucking skates, and he's taunting me. But the taunting wasn't disturbing. It was the same way we rank or play the dozens that everybody knows it as. And no matter where you are in the USA, if there's a couple of niggas, we do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Ranking. Niggas call it, in Jersey, they used to call it hiking. You know. And anyway, what Mike was showing me when he was taunting or ranking on me, taunting me with the skates, my grandfather, he said, stop him. And since I'm the magic guy, I knew what he was talking about. He was saying, stop him with your mind. So what I did was I focused and made his skates into ice skates. Nigga tripped, and then he turned it back into roller skates. Mike was like, good job. I was like, fuck that shit. It didn't work. Mike said, no. What you understand is this is the way you exercise your mind to create your reality. Now, if you remember, I told you about the movie Revolver. One of the lines in Revolver was the only way to get better and they were playing chess, is to play a greater opponent. So my grandfather represented that greater opponent. Not to mention he was a dark-ass magic nigga, and when the nigga died, I went to clean out his house with the same aunt that does the crystals, found a whole heap of Necronomicon shit up in his house, and took that shit. I even knew what it was. All that old Lovecraft writing and shit, and Lovecraft used to write in weird tales. I found a bunch of weird tales, and my father, who's not his son, his son-in-law, when I told my pops, my grandfather died, which is my mother's father, he said, shit, that nigga had one of the illest libraries on witchcraft I've ever seen out of print. I'm like, what? But I didn't know nothing about it back then. I would have snatched. I wasn't looking at all them books he had up there. I'd have snatched all that shit. This nigga was in the dream, and what based upon that line from Revolver, the only way to get better is to play a greater opponent. That's what he represents. So me playing the dozens with him was the calisthenics my mind needed in this particular orientation world. So after I get out of this hospital, if you will, understanding that I am no longer human. What do I do now? I need